And so I'm going to start some reading about Pontius Pilate. I just want you guys to listen. I do not want you to zone out. Listen, okay? So here is the preface or preface. The trial would become the central event in history. Okay, hold on a second. Is Walker saying something? Okay. The trial would become the central event in history, but for the judgment of one man, a faith shared by nearly 1 billion people today might not have been born. At least it would not have been developed as we know it. The decision of the Roman prefect of Judea on the day called Good Friday may have stemmed from pressures of the moment, but it was conditioned by the turbulent politics of the Mediterranean world at the time. What really happened at that most famous of all trials? Okay, so what is this going to be about, Isaac? Pontius Pilate and?
Jesus.
And?
Israel.
What'd you say? What'd you say? It sounded right. Yeah. Well, the trial that Pontius Pilate condemns Jesus. Okay, we're going to get some background on that.
Oh, this is the, okay, so this is the, when he went and they picked him over the murderer.
That's exactly it. Why? Who was Pontius Pilate and why did this happen? Okay? Was Pilate's judgment motivated by cowardice, expediency, or necessity? Where did he come from, and what became of him afterward? This man who unwittingly switched the flow of history into a new channel. This book proposes several answers. There is too little source material on Pontius Pilate for a biography, yet too much for recourse to mere fiction. These pages attempt a compromise, which might be called the documented historical novel. Okay? So this is going to be a historical novel. Is it all going to be true? No. They're going to take a lot of liberties in telling the story and making some assumptions and having conversations that may not have actually happened, okay? It seemed an appropriate genre for a case, such as Pilate's, in which much authentic data is available, yet with insurmountable gaps in the information. In constructing this account, I first searched for all surviving bricks of facts, then cemented them together with regrettably fictional mortar into what I hope is something of an accurate restoration of the original structure of Pilate's career. As a documentary novel, it differs from regular historical fiction in that no liberties were taken with the facts. So he makes this very clear. When it comes to the facts, he stuck to the facts. The bricks were used as discovered without alteration. Reference notes on the most significant and controversial points of scholarship are provided at the end of the book. Most of these notes involve original sources. Okay, so here's what he did to aim for accuracy. All persons named in the book are historical characters. No proper name has been invented. If it is not known, it is not given. No portrayal of any personality, no description of any event, and no episode or detail contradicts known historical fact. And only where all evidence is lacking is constructed history based on probabilities used to fill in the gaps. Even here, he tries to stick to the historical data. The role of the prosecution on Good Friday has, of course, been bitterly debated. I have largely followed the New Testament version of this trial because even Talmudic, which is, I think, Jewish, sources concerning Jesus can substantially accord with it, as demonstrated in the notes. But for later generations to draw anti-Semitic conclusions from Jewish involvement on Good Friday was an incredible blunder. Okay, what does that sentence mean? What does this sentence mean? And I want you guys to get an answer, so you're going to have to wake up if you're half asleep right now. What does this sentence mean? For later generations to draw anti-Semitic. What is anti-Semitic?
Against Jews.
Against Jews. So for later generations to be against Jews because of what happened on Good Friday is ridiculous. What does that mean?
Because we're supposed to share Christ's love.
No.
So Pontius Pilate was a Jew? Was he not?
No, he was a Roman. But what? So we have had movies about Christ and about Jesus, right? And people will say, books and whatever, that we are being against the Jews. Okay? That we are being anti-Semitic. It is not anti-Semitic to tell this story about Jesus and the Jews. It says right here, it's as ridiculous as hating Italians because Nero once threw Christians to the lions. Okay? Nero was an Italian. He threw Christians to the lions. So we're not going to hate Italians. We're not going to hate Jews just because they threw Jesus and they murdered Jesus. Does everybody understand? Okay, I don't know where Walker is.
I don't like the cops because there's one that cops because I would hate all of them.
Right, exactly. It's the same thing. Okay. Okay, so this betrayal has also tried to tell the greatest story ever told. From its least told vantage point, uncovering what may be one of the last aspects of that story which still needs retelling. What happened in Palestine in the early first century is usually viewed from a Christian or Jewish, not a Roman perspective. So whose perspective are we going to hear this from? Roman. We're going to hear this basically from the side of Pontius Pilate in his life. All right? Events in Judea. I thought I sent it. Events in Judea are rarely linked to that larger complex which controlled the province, the Roman Empire. Yet the culmination of Jesus' career was not a story of one city, but a tale of two, Jerusalem and Rome. This then is the other part of the story. Okay? So this is going to share the story of Pontius Pilate and his view of it.